Good evening, everybody. Mark Melnyk here for the new Fly Fisher Live, coming to you from my home base in Toronto, Canada. We have got an excellent show coming up for you tonight. We have the incomparable Peter Douglas from the islands of the Bahamas and my good friend Tom Rosenbauer. So without any further ado, let's get at it.
Ooh, that's a nice size fish.
I will catch these all day.
That is what you're in for on this episode.
So back in December of last year, Tom Rosenbauer and I had the distinct pleasure of being able to fly to the Bahamas to do an episode of The New Fly Fisher and an episode of the Orvis Guide to Fly Fishing. And I'm here to tell you that it was an experience that was absolutely fantastic. It was phenomenal. We caught some of the biggest and some of the best bonefish of my career. It was truly something to behold. We worked with the Bahamas Tourism Commission, specifically Peter Douglas and his sidekick Trans Sims, to make everything happen, which had a really, really wonderful tour of Andros Island to experience 4 different lodges in the region that are world famous for bone fishing. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Mr. Peter Douglas. Peter, how are you tonight? And welcome to the New Fly Fisher Live. Peter, you got to unmute your mic, buddy. There you go.
You switch to rum. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be on.
Welcome, sir. So it was a little while that we were working together to be able to put this tour together to showcase bone fishing in the Bahamas. And you know what? I think, our show airs on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon at noon on our YouTube channel. And I think after seeing the final result of the nearly 1 hour New Fly Fisher television show, that it was truly a success, wasn't it?
That's good news to hear that it was a success. We really worked hard on that, and we showed you the best of what Andros had to offer. And I know you enjoyed. I want to see this show with seeing these big bonefish being caught.
Absolutely. So let's bring in my sidekick and good friend during the show, Mr. Tom Rosenbauer. Tom, coming to you from Vermont.
You caught me.
That's awesome. That's so good. Tom, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm really good. I just opened up a bottle of really nice Havana Club. Thank you.
Well,
you guys were drinking, so I thought I would too. Cheers.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mark. Good to see you, Peter.
Likewise. So before we get started
Nice
into the meat of this show, I would like to tease everybody with something that is near and dear to my heart. It's a teaser that we created while we were in the islands for Peter and his marketing crew. And Tom will attest that when I saw this thing for the first time on one of our final nights together on Andros Island, it actually brought me to tears. So please enjoy. Would you believe me if I told you that I found a place that fishes today what it must have been like hundreds of years ago? I found a place where the people are as great as the sky is blue. I found a place with beaches, white sand as far as the eye can see. Where is this place? Andros Island in the Bahamas.
love bone fishing because it's all visible. I love stalking fish. I love it where you can see everything. And in bone fishing, you see the fish coming, you make the cast. It requires a pinpoint cast usually, so it tests the best of your abilities. It's challenging, but it's not super challenging. And they fight hard, and that's part of it too. But to me, the stalking and the visual part of it is why I love bone fishing so much.
Oh yeah, nice fish! Woo! Yeah, baby! There's definitely a passion for bone fishing. I grew up on these bonefish flats, and there's a great joy and the experience you get from a client that's on the bow of that boat, and when the client hooks a fish, you almost get the same satisfaction from the client hooking a fish like you hooking a fish. So definitely, I love bone fishing.
Man, oh man, we're locked horns with a good one. We're seeing these waves of bonefish coming down this flat. Oh yeah, that's a good one. And this was a group of 4. And this was the lead fish that came and ate it. That's a good fish, man. Woo-hoo!
So you want to come to Andros Island to catch trophies?
They are possible. Bonefish pushing double digits? How do you like that? Absolutely fantastically spectacular. Away goes.
It's home for me. Definitely, I wouldn't choose any place in the world other than the Bahamas. The fishing here is awesome. The guiding is awesome. The people here are awesome. These are my people, so I'm glad to be a part of this.
Wow, just some fantastic memories of an absolutely epic trip. Tom, doesn't that give you goosebumps?
Yeah, and we should give a shout out to Ryan Pizzicalla, who was our cameraman there on Andros. And Ryan put that video together kind of on the run while we were there, shot it and edited it. And I just think you did an amazing job. So
You absolutely did. Hey, Peter, I got to ask you, when we began the conversation about what we wanted to accomplish in coming to Andros Island, I mean, you really got to realize that the Bahamas are comprised of 700 islands throughout the entire section. Andros is just one island in the entire country. What was your mission in having us come, and what did you want to get accomplished?
always got to have a drink first.
You're talking to me, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Well, exactly what I wanted to have you accomplish. It's exactly what you just showed in that clip, was the wow factor of landing a big bonefish in one of the most pristine and one of the largest flats, saltwater flats areas that's still left in the Western Hemisphere that is well protected, is now a national park, and bonefish could grow wild and free, and you could have the opportunity to come and just tease them with a fly.
And it was a beautiful
and I wanted you to take that to the world. And also what I love to capture is how our well-experienced guides show their skills of putting you on the fish, and also their passion for what they do. And it was so beautiful to see Mary, one of our few female guides. I hope you didn't get too comfortable.
The only female guide in the Bahamas. She was awesome.
Yes, I mean,
she was awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
Tom, you've had the pleasure of fishing all over the world. You've got a storied career in fly fishing. Tell me about what I know that trip was special to you, as it was to me. Is there any place like the Bahamas for those kind of bonefish?
Well, not that I know of. I mean, I haven't been all over the world, but I've been to Christmas Island, Belize, and Florida and Cuba, and I think that's all. But yeah, I mean, I just love the Bahamas. It's my favorite. It's maybe my favorite place in the world to go fishing, and it's definitely my favorite place to go bone fishing because of the variety of habitat, the sizes of the fish. It's not all big fish, but there is a chance for a big fish. It's a healthy ecosystem. So there's fish of all sizes. You'll see, smaller 3-4 pound fish, 2-3-4 pound fish in a big school. And then you'll see the big lone singles that might push double digits. And that's what makes it exciting. You never know when that big one's going to crawl up on the flat.
Exactly.
There are other places where you're just never going to see one that big. And then the guides, I mean, besides a nearly pristine ecosystem, as pristine as I've ever seen a tropical, subtropical ecosystem, I put Bahamian guides up against anyone in the world. They are articulate. They are super knowledgeable. I learn so much every time I fish with a Bahamian guide, and they're fun. They don't stress you out like guides do in some places. They don't yell at you. They chuckle, they make little jokes, and they're calm and great instructors. They're just, I put up against guides anywhere.
Tom, let me tell you something. And Peter, I don't think I've explained this to you either, but when we were fishing out of Swain's Key Lodge, we were finished one day, and a guide by the name of Alvin took me aside and said, "Hey, can I, the cameras are off. Can I give you a little bit of advice on your casting?" And I said, "Absolutely. I would love to get some advice from you." And he said, "Okay, this is what you need to do. This will increase your cast distance in the wind, and let's give it a shot." So we're standing on terra firma, and I did exactly what he said, and I was able to cast my first full fly line so that the backing was outside of the rod. And I was just chuffed. I was so excited about that. I'm sure every fly angler will remember the opportunity that they had. I haven't been able to do it since, but it was awesome, right? And then he said, "Okay, let me show you something else." And he grabbed my fly line, and he stripped way into the backing. And he grabbed the fly line, and he choked up to about 30 feet, and he started doing this with his arm.
Uh-huh.
And he cast the entire fly line with a tight loop without a rod. These guides grow up doing this. They're excellent. I'll echo Tom, they are the best at what they do.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We're working on improving that all the time.
That's fantastic.
You can always improve.
Always. So we had a great trip. But let's address the elephant in the room. We are Merry Christmas, by the way, everybody. Happy holidays. I should have started out by saying so.
Happy Junkanoo.
Happy.
Absolutely. We are 2 days away from the holiday, and things have changed. Things have changed internationally. Peter, can you give us an update on where the Bahamas stands? Is travel possible? Is fishing possible? And if it is, what are some of the precautions or some of the things that people that want to travel have to do to be able to enter and fish in the Bahamas?
Tourism is our number one business, and we have to keep our industry going and our economy going in the face of COVID. So the government of the Bahamas immediately jumped on to setting up protocols and pushing the envelope so that we could operate our tourism industry to the safest possible atmosphere, in the safest possible atmosphere. And we went for it, and we have set up a system that we think is unbelievable. And it's called a COVID-19 protocol, clean and pristine. Every hotel staff had to be trained in this COVID protocol and management, and then they all had to be inspected. And We opened up for Thanksgiving, and we also opened up for the summer. And each time we've opened up, the only problems that we've had was never with our visitors, because our visitors have to do COVID-19 PCR tests before they come in and upload that to the Bahamas government website, travel.gov Bahamas, bahamastravel.gov, and just upload it to the site, a PCR test. You'll get all the instruction there. It's very simple. And you pay a fee of $60 and you come into the Bahamas with a COVID test. We make sure whatever property you go to, whatever airline that brings you here, whatever ground transportation, they are all protocol and trained. And you come into the country and you go into a hotel that is all set up for you, so you're like in a bubble. And once you're there, after 5 days, you go to a local clinic and you take another rapid test. It takes half hour to make sure you're safe on your vacation. And it's all covered in your visa. We've done this twice, opening up our country, and we have had no problems with visitors. The only time we had a spike is when we let Bahamians go traveling to the US and didn't make them do the test. Now that Bahamians travel outside, they have to do the test to come back in. So we believe that our numbers will stay down and stay small and stay manageable and controllable. But our visitors will be safe to the best of our ability. And so far, we haven't had any incident. And we've welcomed thousands of visitors to the Bahamas since we've opened up in July and November.
Hey, Peter, just to clarify, in those 5 days before you get that test, you don't have to stay in your hotel room for those 5 days, do you?
Oh, no, there's no quarantine. This is all, you're roaming free. We have no quarantine. Andros, in the district where I'm at, we had one case, and that person came in from Nassau, and that was immediately dealt with. We had 22 cases totaled over the entire COVID experience. And all of those were from outside cases coming in from Nassau. And we immediately mitigate those and stop any possible spread. And because we have such intense community involvement and tracking, that anybody that comes in, they're immediately watched and managed, not only by the health system, but it's a community effort. And that's what makes things so much safer on an island, when you have an entire community working to keep things safe.
That's fantastic, and it shows the effort put in by government and by the citizens to make sure that the pristinity of the Bahamas stays and the health of Bahamians is first and foremost. To expand on that, in the last couple of years, Peter, there's been a couple of questions about what is possible as a fly angler in the Bahamas to come and be able to recreate and to fish. Namely, do you have to fish with a guide? Can you do it yourself? All those sort of things. What's the status of fly fishing in the Bahamas today?
The status of fly fishing in the Bahamas today is that anybody who wants to come to fly fishing, to fly fish now, we will be more than happy to welcome you, because very few people are traveling. Right. Moving forward with managing our fly fishing industry so it stays sustainable, we've started to put our flats regulations in place, where we're asking people to pay a fishing license, which I think is $20 for the week. And that goes towards helping us manage and regulate our fly fishing industry, study our bonefish flats, the spawning aggregation, and keep the information out there, letting people know that bonefish are protected. And those laws are being enforced mainly more voluntarily than physically, being enforced. Also about people coming and do it yourself. In Andros, we never had an issue with that, because there's so much space in Andros that everybody can do it themselves and you won't see one another. Right. Yes, it's not a big issue. The big issue that was considered in the regulations were people who had second homes and were trying to infringe on the guide's business. We have to protect whatever Bahamian industry any Bahamians that are in the tourism industry to make sure that their livelihood isn't taken away. And the only way we do that is to say that if you're going to come to the Bahamas to be a bone fishing guide, that can't happen. Only Bahamians can be bone fishing guides. But if you're coming to the Bahamas as a visitor to go fly fishing, there's no obstruction. You could wade anywhere. You just can't jump in a fly fishing boat and go on the flats without a guide. So basically, that's the stipulation.
That's good. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Peter, Jim from Colorado asks, which spring month is the best angling for bones?
I'm not getting any audio from you, Mark.
Sorry, Jim. Sorry, Peter. Jim asks, what spring month is best for angling for bonefish?
My favorite month is April.
Very good. We were there in December, John or Tom, and we hit the migration just as it started to happen for the spawn, and it was just fantastic.
Jim, it can be good through mid-June as well. I mean, it all depends on weather, right? It's always going to be weather dependent, and I've had good fishing through mid-June, and then starting up in September again. You know, in the fall you always worry about hurricane season, but then again, the fish haven't been pressured all summer, and the fishing can be pretty good, and not as many people in the fall. So. And Jim, I'm sorry I'm not drinking Oscar Blues tonight. I'm drinking Havana Club, so I apologize.
Mark, what I want to add and let Jim know that bone fishing is basically good all year round, but right now, because nobody's been fishing on these flats, the fish got so dumb and so plentiful.
Yeah.
COVID has been one of the best things for the environment. Unfortunately, we had very little fly fishermen on the flats, so the fish are out there all over the place. And I live on the flats.
Yes.
Well, you had a double.
I didn't get that.
Sorry. You had a kind of a double whammy. You had the big hurricane, and then you had COVID. And I fished Grand Bahama right after, it was a month and a half after that big hurricane, and the fishing was absolutely the best I'd ever seen. Combine that with nobody fishing during COVID, and those fish are going to be a lot easier.
You said something very interesting, Tom. Hurricanes rejuvenate the ecosystem.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I mean, you lost a lot of mangroves on Grand Bahama and on Abaco, and Bonefish Tarpon Trust, in particular. Justin Lewis is working on replanting a lot of mangroves, but the fish adjust to the change in habitat.
So there you go, Jeffrey. There's your answer to how the hurricanes been down there. They're actually been, according to Peter, they're actually doing quite. They do have a beneficial effect, which is great. Thomas asks, "I'm going to Abaco in April. Do you think they might require a vaccination by then?" Thomas, who knows? Really, who knows what the policy is going to be by then? But if we were to continue on with our adventure down in Andros. Peter, our first stop was at a place called Eva's Bonefish Lodge, which I can honestly tell you, it felt like I was going home. When we arrived at Eva's, Eva came out and welcomed us, right, Tom? And it was like we were her long lost grandchildren from, from decades ago. She gave us big hugs, welcoming. It was absolutely fantastic. Here's a little taste of what Eva's Bonefish Lodge is all about.
Our first stop is North Andros Island and Eva's Bonefish Lodge. Eva's Bonefish Lodge is located on North Andros Island in the Bahamas on a stunning beach overlooking the sea. The lodge is ideally positioned to take advantage of the vast flats, creeks, and mangrove estuaries of North Andros. opportunities exist to walk the beach and fish for cruising bonefish. The house accommodates 6 anglers and consists of 3 spacious rooms that are comfortably furnished with 2 queen beds, air conditioning, ceiling fans, full bath, mini refrigerators stocked with bottled water and soft drinks, and laundry service is also available. Eva's Bonefish Lodge offers an experienced chef and beautifully prepared Bahamian-style dinners with fresh seafood. Nobody leaves the table hungry.
Now, Tom, unfortunately, there was a fire that was happening in the area when we arrived. We're supposed to arrive to Andros from Nassau. So we missed a day of fishing out of Eva's, but we still had a fantastic day. Describe to me what the fishing out of Eva's was like.
Well, it's we fished the Jolters, and it's just a giant white sand flat that goes, I don't know how many square miles, but it's a monster flat. And, it's that white sand. You can see the fish. It's beautiful, hard bottom. So it's all waiting if you want to. And, we only really had a half day there, which was a real bummer. But,
it was.
I wanted to answer a question that David has. Are there any particular locally tied flies that work better than the standard bonefish flies? You don't want to get your flies when you get to the Bahamas, because there are no fly shops in the Bahamas. And sometimes the guides have them, usually they have them, but you need to go with your flies and your leader and a backup rod, because you're not going to be able to get anything locally. And your standard gotcha is probably all you need in 3 different weights, in a light, a medium, a heavy, or Puglisi spawning shrimp. Any of the spawning shrimp flies. Bonefish are not very selective, and the guides may have a particular favorite, but you don't want to rely on getting flies locally when you go to the Bahamas. You want to arrive with a good bunch of flies.
Absolutely, and talking to the outfitter before you actually go and finding out what the patterns are for the islands that you're going to be fishing is key. And they're going to be open and honest about it, because that's the nature of the business. They need you to have success. And another smart thing to do is, if you're going to go and buy a certain pattern or a certain set of patterns for a trip to the Bahamas, pick up an extra dozen and bring them down and leave them there, so that they can have a stockpile. If somebody runs out or what have you, those guides can dip into their pocket and they can help other anglers out for sure.
But in my experience, in the 3 islands I've fished in the Bahamas, 90% of the time, guide's going to put on a gotcha
or a Christmas Island special.
Yeah,
or Crazy Charlie.
Yeah, gotcha's the fly. And so again, bonefish are not that selective. It's more about presentation and getting the right sink rate. So you want to have them in 3 different sink rates.
So here's an example of what it's like fishing out of Eva's Bonefish Lodge.
Tom and I draw straws. This time, I'm up first, and there's a school of bones coming my way.
Oh, the fly works. The shark's coming. Get that fish in quick. Ah, he turned away. Good.
It's 12 pound on here, right?
Yep, 12 pound.
There's a shark on him.
Is there?
There's a shark in behind him.
Here, bring him in.
That's one. Fantastic.
Where's that shark?
I haven't seen him. Good fly, Tom.
How's it look? I didn't even know how it looks in the water. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not bad for a first start, hey Tom?
Yeah, and I didn't have a gotcha on. I had one of my own crazy things on.
Peter, how long has Eva's been in business, and
Could you repeat that, Tom?
yeah. How, Eva's got an interesting business. It's just her and her husband, and it's a small little place. It's just a wonderful little lodge to go to.
Yes, Eva's Lodge is a small family resort, and her kids basically run the property. Her son, Jason Edgecombe, does a lot of the promotion as well and help her with the management of it. It's what you call one of the many small little family-owned Bahamian fly fishing lodges. When you check in, it's like you're checking into someone's house. And you're treated like one of the family. One of the beautiful things about those types of properties, in the era of COVID, they're nice little individual bubbles. You're there on the beach in Stanyard Creek, you saw that beautiful beach, you're away from everything, and you're totally protected from your car, from your lodge to the flats.
Right.
No crowds, nothing. It's perfect. It's a matter of fact, fly fishing in the Bahamas, it's a perfect COVID vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is. Our next stop was at Small Hope Bay Lodge, run by Jeff Birch, and it is for those that are looking for a more of a family style resort to go to with lots of water activities, including diving, snorkeling, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, and some fantastic fishing. This is what Small Hope Bay Lodge has to offer.
Our next stop on Andros Island is Small Hope Bay Lodge. Located just off the Queens Highway with very close access to Androstown, offering all individual comfortable beachfront cabins along with incredibly fresh international cuisine, Small Hope Bay Lodge is perfect for individual anglers, groups, and especially families. The lodge is conveniently situated on the edge of the world's third largest barrier reef. Perfect for snorkeling, scuba diving, or most any water sport you may want. Not to mention miles of bonefish flats and world-class fishing.
I really enjoyed Small Hope because of all the extracurricular activities it had. It was a fantastic stay. And Tom, we had some of the most remarkable bone fishing of the trip there, and some of the most remarkable screw-ups as well while we were fishing.
Yeah, I hope you were going to say that because I think we dropped like 7 fish in a row between us. Yeah, it was totally operator error too. They were there.
Peter, Jeff is a special person in your heart. Tell us a little bit about Small Hope Bay.
Oh, Jeff and Small Hope Bay. I'm one of the extended family members. And the beauty of Small Hope Bay, it's one of the oldest resorts in the country. It's over 60 years old. It's the first scuba diving resort in the Caribbean. And it's a place for fishermen. And they're a very smooth program with very experienced guides. Jeff is very seasoned in the business in order to deliver the service of fishing. And Small Hope Bay is centrally located, and you have access to all of the great fishing grounds from the Jolta Keys to the west side to the shoreline flats. It's just a wonderful place, and the food and the service and all the extra activities with the water sports and nature tours. It's the perfect family or group fishing, and it gives you everything as a little resort. And it's
one of the cool things about fishing out of Small Hope Bay is, Tom, if you remember, we were out on the pier and all of a sudden we saw some some tarpon that had shown up, and they ended up staying for the entire week, didn't they?
Yeah. We hooked one too, but it didn't last long.
Didn't last long. So here's an example of what fishing out of Small Hope Bay looks like.
Coming at us.
Oh yeah, those fish. Is that my buddy there? No.
Yeah, pushing up.
Ooh, flashy flash.
Tom, 70 feet cast behind the mango, please. I know you can do it.
Nice shot.
Roger, Pop. Keep him off of the mango, please.
Sweet Tom. Great. So Tom, we've had some interesting luck today.
We've had some screw ups, Mark. We've had some screw ups today. It's probably been one of our biggest comedies of error all year, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's a great fish.
Yeah, and we're not done. We're not done yet. We haven't landed this one. But how many have we hooked?
Probably five or six.
And we've just totally screwed it up. We've just totally screwed it up one way or the other.
But that's bone fishing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There's all kinds of things that can go wrong at any given time.
That's bone fishing, but we shouldn't have been that bad.
Okay. Okay, you're right.
We shouldn't have been that
Ooh, that's
bad.
a good fish.
That's a nice fish. That fly was never coming out. Right in the corner. You ready? Oh, nice slow swim away.
So for those who are looking for big bone fish with a family angle, Small Hope Bait Lodge is wonderful. And you know what? It's interesting, Tom, to see a professional such as yourself and a hack such as myself struggle on such a day when there's so many fish. But that's bone fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're not a hack. We were just both hacks that day.
It was crazy.
That's all I could say. I just want to answer a couple questions
Yeah,
about leader length, leader size and length, 9 foot, 12 pound. And you might want to even go to 12 footer and add a little bit to your butt section sometimes when the fish are spooky. And Jim was asking, besides Cuda, what other species? You can see tarpon. It's not a place to go for tarpon, but you can see tarpon in the Bahamas. Triggerfish, snappers, of course, Cudas. And I've seen a lot of permit, particularly in Grand Bahama. I've seen a lot of permit. But again, it's not a place to go for tarpon or for bone or for permit. It's really bone fishing is the main attraction. Bone fishing and Cudas and sharks. Mark got a big shark.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had no idea what to do. What do we do with this thing now?
Yeah.
Luckily, it came off. So, Peter, our next adventure is to Andros Island Bonefish Club. Tell us a little bit about it.
Andros Island Bonefish Club. I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
hear you too well, Tom.
Yeah, Andros Island Bonefish Club.
Mark. Yes, Andros Island Bonefish Club is a Bahamian family-owned bonefish club. It started off with Captain Rupert Leedens. Now it's being run by his daughter. He's deceased. He's one of the old veterans, a great entertainer. They have some of the largest inventory of experienced guides, I would say, in the District of Central Andros. Also, they have 12 rooms. They're right on Cargill Creek. They have the easy access to like the Primo Bonefish grounds. And it's a really, again, a very nice, friendly, clean resort that has experience in delivering good fly fishing experiences.
Absolutely. And I will tell you that, you know, when Tom and I fished out of Andros Island, we were fishing with two fantastic guides, one named Glister, one named David, and we would flip back and forth. And if you wanted to understand about the communication and the level of calm and the demeanor of guides in the Bahamas, take a listen to this.
Yeah, I would say the demeanor of our guides are one of the best in the world.
Next stop on the east side of the island is the world-famous Andros Island Bonefish Club.
I remember
Known
when
to have
they
some of the finest bone fishing in the world, along with clean, comfortable accommodations, outstanding service, and the finest of Bahamian cuisine. Andros Bonefish Club is the ideal fishing vacation destination.
This morning we're going to look for school fish, but the reason why we're going to look for school fish is because most of the fish travels from the west coast and they come towards the east coast because they're spawned. You know, they have eggs, they're going to drop their eggs, and so they migrate along the north shore of the island all the way out to the front, what we call the east coast, and that's where we hid them. So we just found a nice spot on the edge of the flats, and hopefully they would come along and pass here, and then you hit them that way. Most of these fish runs from, I don't know, 3 to about 14 pounds, in that range. Now, of course, you know you're not going to get a very good shot at a lot of the big ones because the smaller fish are much, much more aggressive. But with some fancy casting skills and a lot of luck, I think we'll do fine.
I love that clip because it absolutely epitomizes the gentleness of Bahamian guides and how fantastic they were both. That was Glister Wallace, and just a fantastic guide that put us on some absolute giants.
Absolutely.
So if you're curious as to what it looks like to catch fish out of Andros Island Bonefish Club, here's an example.
Long strip. Take it out right one once you got him, sorry. I didn't see that second fish eat.
Yeah, I didn't see him eat either.
Yeah.
Whoa, man.
You're working
These
it hard.
fish are tough.
Yeah.
Woo. That's why I love bone fishing. You know, it can be easy some days and they eat every fly, and other days it can be incredibly difficult, frustrating, but it's always fun. Usually get about 2 good runs out of a decent bonefish, and then that's a nice fish, and then they'll do some short ones as you get close to the boat like this, but you know, they're usually not long runs. But you usually get 2 good long runs.
I'll try working with you to get that fish off, and then I'll see if you get another cast.
No, nice fish. Ate it pretty deep, that's a good sign. Oh, that came out easy, good.
So guys, I have to ask you, what is your go-to setup when you come to the Bahamas to catch bonefish? What rod weight, what line, what leader length and tippet and all that sort of stuff?
You asking me?
I'm asking both of you. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I'll go. 9-foot 8 weight. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Take a 10 weight in case you see permit or tarpon or you want to chase cudas and sharks, and you're done. That's all you need. 9-foot 8-weight. And a floating line. Period. End of story. 9-foot, 12-pound leader. Bring some butt material. If the fish are real spooky, you might want to add 3 feet to that leader. Add, piece of 40-pound. And you're done. That's all you need.
Peter, Andros is the largest of the Bahamian Islands. How many lodges are on the island and that cater to bonefish?
We have approximately 23 lodges on the island that are catering bone fishing. And they all do a good job. And at the moment, we have about another 3 or 4 being constructed. We have our newest resort on the west side, the West Side Sunset Fishing Lodge. And it's owned by Henry Smith from the Great Smith family of guides. And it's doing an awesome job over there. I hope when you come back, we could do something with his place. And, we offer about close to 100 rooms plus. But a huge area of almost 800 square miles of just flats.
You need a co-host on that show when you come back, Mark?
I do. Absolutely. I do. The invite's always there, man. Always there. Peter, with such a large area, you don't see, I don't remember when we were there coming across another angler the entire time. All we saw were rays and bonefish, and it was absolutely as pristine as it gets. Is that typical for Andros?
Yeah, that's very typical for Andros. And we're working hard to try to keep it like that through developing sustainable management of the resource. We also want to figure out what capacity the ecosystem can take for the number of guides. How many guides can your ecosystem take a year so that and truly sustainably manage the resource.
Right.
We're constantly training our guides so that they could be better at the job that they're delivering in a sustainable manner.
Are you seeing a lot of younger guides getting into the business now since the pandemic has started? Have you seen more people being interested in guiding? Because I know that was a concern for you when we were there, that that some of the youngsters were a little nervous about getting into the sport.
Yeah, we had a serious concern. The average age of our fishing guide 5 years ago was 50 years old. And we got nervous. And we got a nice grant from the IDB and the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. And we developed a sustainable training program for Andros. And we got about 20 to 40 new guides in this program. And 20 of them just completed their apprenticeship course, and will be moving into the industry over the next 2 to 3 years. When you're at Small Hope Bay Lodge, you were fishing with Mr. Ramming. Remember him?
Yes, sir.
Right. He was one of our new sustainable training guides. He was the bailing apprentice at the time. So we're slowly trying to get young blood into the system.
Fantastic. Our final stop on our tour of Andros Island was Swain's Key Lodge, owned by Cheryl Bastian. It's a fantastic lodge. Once again, great for families of anglers with lots of things to do. Bonefish flats at her doorstep. Opportunity to catch double digit fish. Let's take a look at what Swain's Key has to offer.
Our final destination on this outstanding fishing trip is Swain's Key Lodge, located on Mangrove Key. The lodge is larger than most, with a number of different options for accommodations. All rooms have ensuite bathrooms, furnished patio, air conditioning, and Wi-Fi access. They have a duplex apartment that can handle larger groups that boasts a comfortable lounge with satellite TV. The bone fishing here is unbelievable. Many double-digit fish are landed in their waters on a regular basis.
Yeah, and Tom, we had an opportunity to dance with some big bones just off the shores of Swain's Key Lodge, didn't we?
We had the opportunity. That was the day we were on our own without a guide, and we did not connect.
We had the opportunity.
I think we caught a triggerfish.
We did. Yes, you did. You did. It was a lot of fun. So
yeah, they were tough.
Though Swain's Key Lodge is not on Andros proper, it's part of the key system. Peter, tell me a little bit about what it takes to get there. Is it difficult? Are there issues?
Well, there's no issues to get to Swain's Key at the moment. Airlines are running there back on schedule. Domestic airlines coming in from Nassau. We have Lee Air connecting flights in the afternoon. They're running their morning and afternoon flights now that we're open to the tourism industry. Also, you could fly straight in from Fort Lauderdale into Swain's Key on Watermakers Airs coming into Andros port of entry in the north, and then just hopping down to Mangrove Key. Andros is the largest island in the Bahamas. It's 4 airports. It's the 5th largest island in the Caribbean. It's very big. And Mangrove Key is one of the many islets that makes up the big island of Andros. And to get to Mangrove Key, you had to even take a boat to fly on a plane. That's how big it is, and that's how much water is separating the different areas of the island. But it's easily accessible. If you're coming in, like you said before, Mark, from Montreal, in one day you could be on the flats in Mangrove Key.
And that's the beautiful thing about all of the Bahamas, whether it's New Providence Island at Nassau, or if you're going out to one of the family islands, which is an unbelievable experience if you've never done it. I live in Toronto. Tom lives in Vermont. For me, it's 3 hours of direct flight from Toronto to Nassau, and then any of the regional carriers can get me to a family island it's 15 minutes to fly to Andros. It's ridiculously easy to get to the Bahamas. Tom, how far is it for you? You fly out of Albany, don't you?
Yeah, it's a connection in it used to be Charlotte, but I think now I have to go through Fort Lauderdale or Miami or something. But it's a couple flights, but it's easier than getting to Montana or Wyoming for sure.
Right, absolutely. And the reason why you want to fly to Andros Island is right here.
Got him.
Come on, fish.
Come on, fish.
Get out of there.
Go. There we go. All right, Alvin.
Yes, sir.
Good work, man. Excellent eyes. The fish are really interesting on this white sandy flat. It's almost like it's milky, but it's not. And to see them has been a real challenge for me today. But once you get to see these fish and you get to know what you're looking at, then you can spot them. It's amazing. So these are 2 fish cruising together on this sand flat out of Swain's Key Lodge. Absolutely wonderful. Good eyes, my friend, good eyes. Back into the backing. Gotta love that. Now, one of the important things to do, to keep in mind while you're fishing bonefish, is not to change anything while the fish are running or while you're fighting the fish. The fish has the hook in its mouth and it's comfortable the way it is for you as an angler. If you were to change your drag or anything like that, you could open up that hole a little bit more. You could change the dynamics of how that fish is fighting and could come loose. Even if your drag's a little bit loose for the size of the fish you've got, do yourself a favor and don't change anything. I didn't get to see these fish full body, Alvin. Are they big? Are they good size?
A nice size one. Nice size fish.
Alvin's done a great job here in running to outrun the southeast cloud phenomenon that's happening today. There's a lot of clouds coming from the southeast. So he made the choice of going for a run to try to get into the sunshine. Sunshine's key, as you know, to spotting bonefish, to casting the bonefish, and to catching bonefish. It makes it a lot harder when you're fishing in cloudy conditions. Yep, that's a good bonefish. Oh yeah. Stud bonefish. What fun. What fun, what fun. Still not done. What fly did you give me, Alvin?
That's number 2. I think that's the number 2 gotcha with the heavy eyes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can get this guy in and show you what we're dealing with here at a mangrove key on Andros. Now, one of the cool things about bonefish is that if you can have them upside down, they calm right down. So, keep the bonefish upside down and they chill right out. As you can see, that fly is right in the corner of the mouth, right where it's supposed to be. The fish is not hurting in any way, just nice and calm, relaxed. What a great fish for the first fish out of Swain's Key Lodge. Cannot be beat. Thanks, buddy.
Tom, you weren't available for that part of the shoot. You had moved on to Grand Bahama. How was the fishing out of Grand Bahama at that time? It was right after the hurricane.
Well, it was interesting. It was interesting because the hurricane didn't hit Andros at all. The big hurricane didn't hit Andros, and Grand Bahama got hit pretty hard, and there was, a lot of loss of property and loss of life. So I was a little reluctant to go, but some friends of mine who guide there, H2O Bonefishing, asked me to come and check it out and let people know. And although there, was a lot of destruction in town, things were okay. People were getting back on their feet, but the fishing was absolutely spectacular. I had shots at big permit, lots of permit, and I caught a couple fish that were pushing double digits just in a day and a half. So it was unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, Peter, we're getting close to the top of the hour. I think the key message for all of our viewers here is that the Bahamas is open for business. It's easy to get to the Bahamas. The protocols are in place to travel once again, to vacation, to catch trophies. It is the Bahamas is the bonefish capital of the world. There is no doubting that, in my opinion. I've had some of the best bone fishing I've ever experienced in the islands, and I look forward to coming back, and I look forward to tipping a click with you and Tom once again.
I'm in.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to having you guys again. And Mark, we want to get you down to the southern Bahamas so you could really feel a whole nother experience down there, where it's much more remote than Andros, and you'll definitely feel like the world has stopped and let you off.
That's amazing.
I've never been to those islands, so I would, just in case you need somebody else, I would be happy to come along.
You got it, Tom. No problem. No problem. So the good news is that the episode that Tom and I shot that we've been speaking about airs on Saturday morning at 12 noon Eastern time on our YouTube channel. This is the beginning of the new Fly Fisher season for season 16. The Bahamas episode is a special one, and it's number one in a series of 27 episodes. I want to take this opportunity to thank Peter Douglas, the entire community of Andros and the lodges that were so fantastic. Tom, thank you for tagging along and helping us out with such a fantastic production. I really look forward to fishing with you both again really soon.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
All right, so for a teaser as to what's coming up on the new Fly Fisher this season, please watch this, and we'll see you next Wednesday right here on the new Fly Fisher Live.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. There were two fish fighting for it. Both came and broke the surface, and then this one just hammered the fly. Ready and go. Oh wow.
Nice.
That is absolutely wicked.
So Chris has spotted and got me into first fish. We've seen some others. We just saw 6 go by us. There he goes. That was outstanding. And you know, the best part was getting him on a bomber. Like, that was awesome. Took 3 or 4 casts, got it in there. Chris helped me, boom, fish on.
It's a fish factory, it's a food factory. There's a lot of different ways to fish the river. It's just cool. It's you know, it's a pretty amazing place.
How do you like that 22-inch brown trout on a pheasant tail waiting in Montana? Nice. All right, so we're hooked up here to a nice big brown trout. Browns are not the dominant species in the Bighorn, but you do have a shot at catching them. And when you do get them, they're generally pretty big, and this one looks fantastic. Yeah! Woo! How do you like that? What a fantastically large, aggressive, wild brown.
Adam had me thrown into the back, slowly stripping, and then dropping it off the ledge. We saw the fish roll up in behind it. We slowed down the presentation and smash. Big old smallie.
Oh my gosh, it's a giant.
That's a tank. This is the reason we make the dries. This might be my personal best, boys. That might be my personal best.
He's got it. I got him. Sweet.
Big fish.
How's that?
It's a big pike.
That is a monster. Oh my goodness. Yes! Can you believe this?
That is a big pike.
Thanks, sweetheart. What an unbelievable animal. Rob, is that your biggest northern?
That is my biggest northern.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
buddy.
man.
Ah! That's a stud.
Nice fish.
That's a big fish,
That's
man.
a nice one.
Nice. You had just said, too, we're going to pull a big one out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna find another nice one right in here somewhere.
All right.
There he is.